Hey everyone, welcome back to Al's Mustang Garage. Today we're continuing on our transmission conversion car, 67 Mustang Coupe, pulling the C4 automatic out of it and putting in a 4-speed top loader. So where we're at in the stage of the process is we've got our clutch all on and we've got our top loader ready to be installed. So that's what we're going to do right now for you. Okay, so we got our bell housing all nice and cleaned up, and we're gonna get that bolted to our top loader, and then we can get this sucker installed. Okay, so yeah, the bell goes on pretty easy. You just have these 4 exterior bolts on the outside, and you just kind of sink her down and she goes on there pretty good. So this sucker is ready to go. Okay guys, so we're getting ready to install our transmission, but first we got to take this shifter box out of here for the automatic. First things first, you gotta get this little T-handle off if you're going to pull the bezel off. There is a little tiny Allen head set screw right there. And so we're going to take that out, and then we can take the top of the shifter out. Just gotta push that button in and then kind of work it up. And that takes the top of the shifter off. And now we just have these 4 screws right here, and I'll take the bezel off. To access these bolts, there's going to be 4 bolts to that, and then we can pull this whole shift box up and out of the way. Okay, so we've got all of our bolts out, and now should be able to just kind of sneak this past our carpet. There we go. Where we're at in the stage of the process is we've got our clutch all on, we got our shifter box out, and we've got our top loader ready to be installed. So that's what we're going to do right now for you. Okay, we're about ready to go back up in here. This transmission I like to secure down, chain her down with my trans jack, just because it doesn't exactly have a nice flat pan like the automatic does. If you're installing this with your shifter, like how I am, the position of this sits so far back that it's going to be very difficult to get it up through the shifter hole. So what I did was unbolt the shifter from its original location. It normally sits clear back here. So I've unbolted it and just kind of held it back. That way I can feed this up through the floor, and then I can secure my bolts. Okay, one last thing before we slide this transmission up is we got to put our release bearing in, or otherwise known as a throwout bearing. For demonstration purposes, I have a separate clutch fork to show you how this clips on. These clips right here pretty much slide on like that. I like to put some good quality grease here on my input shaft, and then that is what's going to actuate your clutch. So, and that's a good bearing, brand new bearing. And so just to kind of show you how that goes on, All right, guys, so that concludes our transmission installation. So just like a couple notes here that I've learned with this, you're going to make your life a lot easier if you just remove both of the exhaust headers. If you're running, you know, headers like this, if you're running exhaust manifolds, it's probably not as big as a problem. I removed one side, but the other side, it would have been a lot easier to navigate around when trying to get this up in there. In particular, your clutch fork gets in the way of these headers and it just kind of makes it difficult. Also, another side note, your bell crank, which is your accelerator pedal assembly that attaches, you know, goes through the firewall, attaches to your gas pedal, and then attaches to your throttle linkage. That tends to get in the way because it has an arm on an automatic that comes down for your kick down. On a manual transmission, you don't need that, so that lever kind of gets in the way as well when you're trying to put this sucker up in there. So note to self, if you're doing the conversion, you might as well take that bell crank out, because you're either going to replace that or modify it, like cut the arm off or something. So I think I'm probably just going to replace mine. The exhaust header out of the way and the bell crank out of the way would certainly have made life a lot easier for this install. But she is in. Again, you don't have to change the cross member or the mount, but you do have to get different mounting bolts because they mount up through here instead of through here. From here, we're going to put the drive shaft back in, and we have a new speedometer cable, and then we're going to start doing the linkage, and then we can move inside the car and do the pedals, and we'll get all that on film and show that in the videos for you, and we'll catch you